So the first one, okay. So Dwayne Johnson, okay, The Rock was actually at the Oscars last night. He was a presenter, and so he actually was asked about the whole Black Adam thing. Black Adam, of course, was a film that came out, last year. Didn't do so hot. So it says that we put our best foot forward. Dwayne Johnson took a moment on the Oscar red carpet to reflect on the DC Universe overhaul that put a pin in his plans for a Black Adam Superman crossover movie. Variety senior culture and events editor Mark Malkin caught up with Johnson and asked about Cavill's being in Superman being dropped from DC Universe despite his highly touted comeback in Johnson's Black Adam. All that we can do, all that I can do, and all that we can do when we were making Black Adam is to put our best foot forward and surround ourselves with the best people and deliver the best movie we could, he said. Our score was in the 90s. Critics took a couple shots, but that's the business of it. It's almost like when you have a pro football team and your quarterback wins championships and your head coach wins championships, and then a new owner comes in and says, "Not my coach, not my quarterback. I'm going to go with someone new." Johnson is, of course, referring to the new DC Studios bosses, James Gunn and Peter Safran, who were announced as the new architects of the DC Universe just a few days after Black Adam opened in theaters last October. And bringing back Cavill's Superman for a post-credit scene appearance, Johnson was laying the groundwork for his own DC universe in which the relationship between Black Adam and Superman would be mapped out across multiple films. Black Adam's tepid box office and Safran's hiring effectively killed Johnson's plan. James and I, James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be the first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and Seven Bucks, his production company, had agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adams can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. So, essentially, the last thing he said was this: "We really wanted to craft a long form of storytelling and show that these two characters exist in the same universe and are going to deal with each other often, either on the same or opposite sides. Hopefully, they clash at some point, and it's not just a one fight situation. That was never our dream. That does not reward the fans. Fans want to feel a journey, and these between these guys, knowing these guys exist in the same universe." Okay. Um, what do I have to say? Look, I get that it's a big thing, you know, but Gunn did the right thing here. I mean, what Johnson was trying to do is essentially shoehorn Henry Cavill in there, okay? And he made the wrong move and it backfired. And I think that, you know, this should be a lesson to him, okay? To try and do things the right way. I understand it took a long time to actually have the movie made. I understand, that he invested a lot in it, his time, his money, everything else. But at the same time, there was no reason for it. I feel bad for Henry Cavill, okay, because he was the lead on The Witcher, okay, and there were reports out there stating that um, he wasn't getting along with the writers and doing the character arc and everything else. But he was the lead, and he left that job because he was essentially promised by Dwayne Johnson, "Hey, look, if you come back to DC, we will take care of it." And as a result, I mean, that was one of the main reasons why it got so much buzz is because of that after credit scene. Um, and now Cavill, Gunn and Safran said, "Not so much." And I'm sure he'll be back in some capacity. Both of them will, but just not in the capacity that they want. Um, I, you know, The Rock's admitting he made a mistake. Okay, plain and simple. He's admitting he's made a mistake, and it is what it is. I knew that he wasn't going to take that big of a hit on it, but at the same time, you know, it's done and it's over with. I think everybody's moved on from it. But it was interesting. I will say one thing though. It was interesting to get his take because we had never really heard Dwayne Johnson's take on this, right? We had heard what we thought we would want to hear, but it finally came from the horse's mouth. And, we'll see what happens from here. And I don't expect either one of them to be back anytime soon. Maybe a few years down the road, we'll see what happens. What do you guys think? Did Dwayne Johnson finally fess up and say, you know what, I wanted this and it didn't work out, or are you guys still optimistic that both of them, in some capacity, will come back to DC, or do you think that they're done with DC for good? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.